Thus Satyavan spoke first to Savitri. How art thou named among the sons of men? I have heard strange voices cross the ether's way. The centaur's withered song has thrilled my ear. I glimpsed the apsaras bathing in the pool and saw the wood nymphs peering through the leaves. The winds have shown to me their trampling lord. I have beheld the princes of the sun burning in thousand-pillared houses of light. So now my mind could dream and my heart fear. Thou drovest thy horses from the thunderous world.
Good morning. So we're reading in Book 5, and we're starting with Canto 3, called Satyavan and Savitri. So in this book of love, Savitri encounters whom she has been seeking in her quest to find her soul mate. And she's encountered Satyavan on the edge of the forest as she was passing by in her chariot, and saw him there against the forest, and catches just a glimpse and almost passes by, but then something in her soul, her heart, kind of leaps out and recognizes this man standing there, and that there's something special about him, and she stops. And they look at each other, gaze, and they're immediately caught by some kind of spell of love or recognition, or something from deep within them comes forth to recognize in the other something deep from ages past, from lives before. And I'll just read a short segment from the last canto, which describes this encounter. So first, it's Savitri kind of responding to seeing Satyavan. Sri Aurobindo describes it. This is on page 396, near the bottom, about 8 lines from the bottom. A visage was there, a face. She sees his form, his face, noble and great and calm, as if encircled by a halo of thought, a span, an arch of meditating light, as though some secret nimbus half was seen. It's kind of like a halo around him. Her inner vision, still remembering, knew a forehead that wore the crown of all her past. 2 eyes, her constant and eternal stars, comrade and sovereign eyes that claimed her soul. Lids known through many lives, large frames of love. And then Satyavan's response to her. He met in her regard his future's gaze, a promise and a presence and a fire. Saw an embodiment of aeonic dreams, a mystery of the rapture for which all yearns in this world of brief mortality, made in material shape his very own. This golden figure given to his grasp, hid in its breast, the key of all his aims, a spell to bring the immortal's bliss on earth, to mate with heaven's truth our mortal thought, to lift earth hearts near the eternal Son. So we see the profound significance that each sees in each other kind of at first glance. So let's continue now with Canto 3. And first we'll read through the canto without stopping, and then we'll go back and read again passage by passage, pausing after each passage briefly and then commenting. So, Suresh, would you like to start?
Satyavan and Savitri. Out of the voiceless mystery of the past, in a present ignorant of forgotten bonds, the spirit met upon the road of time, hid in the heart, their secret conscious selves, at once ever grew of each other warned, by the first call of delightful voice, and a first vision of the destined face, as when being creased to being from its depths, behind the screen of the eternal sense, and strives to find the heart disclosing word, the passionate speech revolving the soul's need, but the mind ignorance veils the inner sight, only a little breaks through our earth-made bounds. So now they met in that momentous hour. So utter the recognition in the depths, the remembrance lost, the oneness felt and missed.
Okay, let's pause. Next.
Thus Satyavan spoke first to Savitri. O thou who comest to me out of time's silences, yet thy voice has wakened my heart to an unknown bliss, immortal or mortal only in thy frame, for more than earth speaks to me from thy soul, and more than earth surrounds me in thy gaze. How art thou named among the sons of man? Whence hast thou dawned, filling my spirit's days, brighter than summer, brighter than my flowers, into the lonely borders of my life, O sunlight molded like a golden maid? I know that mighty gods are friends of earth. Amid the pageantries of day and dusk, long have I travelled with my pilgrim soul, moved by the marvel of familiar things. Earth could not hide from me the power she wields, even though moving mid an earthly scene and the common surfaces of terrestrial things, my vision saw unblinded by her forms. The Godhead looked at me from familiar scenes.
Thank you. Would you like to read?
I witnessed the virgin bridals of the dawn behind the glowing curtains of the sky, or vying in joy with the bright morning steps. I paced along the slumberous coasts of noon, or the gold desert of the sunlight crossed, traversing great wastes of splendor and of fire, or met the moon gliding amazed through heaven in the uncertain wideness of the night, or the stars marched on their long sentinel routes, pointing their spears through the infinitudes. The day and dusk revealed to me hidden shapes. Figures have come to me from secret shores, and happy faces looked from ray and flame. I have heard strange voices cross the ether's waves. The centaur's wizard song has thrilled my ear. I have glimpsed the apsaras bathing in the pools. I have seen the wood nymphs peering through the leaves. The winds have shown to me their trampling lords. I have beheld the princes of the sun burning in thousand-pillared homes of light.
Thank you.
So now my mind could dream and my heart fear that from some wonder couch beyond our air, risen in the wide morning of the gods, thou drove thy horses from the thundering worlds, although so heaven thy beauty sea-mailed. Much rather would my thoughts rejoice to know that mortal sweetness smiles between thy lids, and thy heart can beat beneath the human gaze, and thy aure's bosom quiver with the look and its turbulent answer to an earth-born voice. If our time waxed affectionate, thou canst feel. Earth sees a simple thing can satisfy. If thy gaze can dwell content on earth's soil, and this celestial summary of delight, thy golden body dally with fatigue, oppressing with its curious terrain, while frail sweet passing taste of earthly food delays thee, and the torrent's leaping wine descend. Let thy journey cease, come down to us.
Thank you.
Close is my father's crippled hermitage, screened by the tall ranks of the silent kings, sung to by voices of the hue-robed choirs, whose chants repeat transcribed in music's notes, the passionate colored lettering of the boughs, and fill the hours with their melodious cry. Amid the welcome hum of many bees, invade our honeyed kingdom of the woods. There let me lead thee into an opulent life. Bare, simple is the sylvan hermit life, yet is it clad with jewelry of earth. Wild winds run visitors midst the swaying tops. Through the calm days, heaven's sentinels of peace, couched on a purple robe of sky above, look down on a rich secrecy and hush, and the chambered nuptial waters chant within. Enormous whispering, many-formed around, high forest gods have taken in their arms. The human are a guest of their centuried pomps. Apparelled are the moons in the gold and green, sunlight and shadow tapestry the walls, to make a resting chamber fit for thee.
Thank you.
A while she paused, as if hearing still his voice, unwilling to break the charm, then slowly spoke. Musing, she answered, I am Savitri, princess of Madra. Who art thou? What name musical on earth expresses thee to men? What trunk of kings, watered by fortunate streams, has flowered at last upon one happy branch? Why is thy dwelling in the pathless wood, far from the deeds thy glorious youth demands. Haunt of the anchorites and earth's wilder broods, where only with thy witness self thou roamst, in nature's green, unhuman loneliness, surrounded by enormous silences and the blind murmur of primeval calms. And Satyavan replied to Savitri, in days when yet his sight looked clear on life, King Dyumatsena, once the Shalva, reigned through all the tract which from behind these tops, passing its days of emerald delight, in trusting converse with the traveller winds, turns, looking back toward the southern heavens, and leans its flank upon the musing hills. But equal fate removed her covering hand.
Thank you.
A living night enclosed the strong man's paths. Heaven's brilliant gods recalled their careless gifts, took from blank eyes their glad and helping ray, and led the uncertain goddess from his side. Outcast from empire of the outer light, lost to the comradeship of seeing men, he sojourns in two solitudes, within and in the solemn rustle of the woods. Son of that king, I, Satyavan, have lived contented, for not yet of thee aware, in my high-peopled loneliness of spirit, and this huge vital murmur, kin to me, nursed by the vastness, pupil of solitude. Great nature came to her recovered child. I reigned in a kingdom of a nobler kind than man can build upon dull matter soil. I met the frankness of the primal earth. I enjoyed the intimacy of infant God. In the great tapestried chambers of her state, free in her boundless palace I have dwelt, indulged by the warm mother of us all, reared with my natural brothers in her house.
Thank you.
I lay in the wide, bare embrace of heaven. The sunlight's radiant blessing clasped my brow. The moonbeams' silver ecstasy at night kissed my dim lids to sleep. Earth's morn were mine. Lured by faint murmurings, with the green-robed hours, I wandered lost in the woods, prone to the voice of winds and waters, partner of the sun's joy, a listener to the universal speech. My spirit satisfied within me knew, God-like our birthright, luxuried our life, when close belongings are the earth and skies. Before fate led me into this emerald world, aroused by some foreshadowing touch within, an early prescience in my mind approached, the great dumb animal consciousness of earth, now grown so close to me, who have left old pomps, to live in this grandiose murmur, dim and vast. Already I met her in my spirit's dream, as if to a deeper country of the soul, transposing the vivid imagery of earth, Through an inner seeing and sense, awakening came.
Thank you.
A vision spell pursued my boyhood's hours. All things the eye had caught in colored lines were seen anew through the interpreting mind, and in the shape it sought to seize the soul. An early child god took my hand that held, moved, guided by the seeking of his touch. Bright forms and hues, which fled across his sight, limned upon page and stone they spoke to men. High beauty's visitants my intimates were, the neighing pride of rapid life that roams. Wind maned through our pastures, on my seeing moved, cast shapes of swiftness, trooping spotted deer, against the vesper sky became a song of evening to the silence of my soul. I caught for some eternal eye the sudden kingfisher flashing to a darkling pool, a slow swan silvering the azure lake, a shape of magic whiteness, sailed through dream, leaves trembling with the passion of the wind, pranked butterflies, the conscious flowers of air, and wandering wings in blue infinity lived on the tablets of my inner sight. Mountains and trees stood there like thoughts from God.
Thank you.
The brilliant long bills in their vivid dress, the peacock scattering on the breeze his moons, painted my memory like a frescoed wall. I carved my vision out of wood and stone. I caught the echoes of a word supreme and metered the rhythm beats of infinity, and listened through music for the eternal voice. I felt a covert touch, I heard a call, but could not clasp the body of my God, or hold between my hands the world mother's feet. In men I met strange portions of a self that sought for fragments and in fragments lived. Each lived in himself and for himself alone, and with the rest enjoined only fleeting ties. Each passioned over his surface joy and grief, nor saw the eternal in a secret house. I conversed with nature, mused with the changeless stars, God's watchfires burning in the ignorant night, and saw upon her mighty visage fall a ray prophetic of the eternal sun.
Thank you.
I sat with the forest sages in their trance. There poured awakening streams of diamond light. I glimpsed the presence of the One in all. But still there lacked the last transcendent power, and matter still slept empty of its Lord. The spirit was saved, the body lost and mute, lived still with death and ancient ignorance. The inconscient was its base, the void its fate. But thou hast come, and all will surely change. I shall feel the world mother in thy golden limbs, and hear her wisdom in thy sacred voice. The child of the void shall be reborn in God. My matter shall evade the inconscience trance. My body, like my spirit, shall be free. It shall escape from death and ignorance. And Savitri, musing still, replied to him, Speak more to me, speak more, O Satyavan. Speak of thyself and all thou art within. I would know thee as if we had ever lived together in the chamber of our souls. Speak till a light shall come into my heart, and my moved mortal mind shall understand what all the deathless being in me feels.
Thank you.
It knows that thou art he my spirit has thought, amidst earth thronging visages and forms, across the golden spaces of my life. And Satyavan, like a replying harp to the insistent calling of a flute, answered her questioning and let stream to her his heart in many colored waves of speech. O golden princess, perfect Savitri, more I could tell than failing words can speak, of all that thou hast meant to me, unknown, all that the lightning flash of love reveals in one great hour of the unveiling gods. Even a brief nearness has reshaped my life, for now I know that all I lived and was moved towards this moment of my heart's rebirth. I look back on the meaning of myself, a soul made ready on earth's soil for thee. Once were my days like days of other men. To think and act was all, to enjoy and breathe. This was the width and height of mortal hope. Yet there came glimpses of a deeper self that lives behind life and makes her act its seem.
Thank you.
A truth was felt that screened its shape from mind, a greatness working towards a hidden end. And vaguely through the forms of earth there looked something like that life is not and yet must be. I groped for the mystery with the lantern thought. Its glimmering is lighted with the abstract word, a half-visible ground, and traveling yard by yard, it mapped a system of self and God. I could not live the truth it spoke and thought. I turned to seize its form in visible things, hoping to fix it rule by mortal mind, imposed a narrow structure of world law upon the freedom of the infinite, a hard, firm skeleton of outward truth, a mental scheme of a mechanic power. This light showed more the darkness unsearched. It made the original secrecy more occult. It could not analyze its cosmic veil or glimpse the wonder worker's hidden hand and trace the pattern of his magic plans.
Thank you.
I plunged into an inner seeing mind and knew the secret laws and sorceries that make of matter mind's bewildered slave. The mystery was not solved, but deepened more. I strove to find its hints through beauty and art, but form can't unveil the indwelling power. Only it throws its symbols at our hearts. It evoked a mood of self, invoked a sighing of all the brooding glory hidden in sense. I lived in the ray but faced not to the sun. I looked upon the world and missed the self, and when I found the self, I lost the world. My other selves I lost, and the body of God, the link of the finite with the infinite, the bridge between the appearance and the truth, the mystic aim for which the world was made, the human sense of immortality.
Thank you.
But now the golden link comes to me with thy feet, and his golden sun, his gold sun has shone on me from thy face. For now another realm dawns near with thee, and now diviner voices fill my ear. A strange new world swims to me in thy gaze, approaching like a star from unknown heavens. A cry of spheres comes with thee, and a song of flaming gods. I draw a wealthier breath, and in a finer, fiery march of moments move. My mind transfigures to a rapturous seer. A form leap traveling from the waves of bliss has changed my heart and changed the earths around. All with thy coming fills air, soil, and stream. We're bridal meant to be fit for thee, and sunlight grows a shadow of thy hue, but of change within me by thy look.
Thank you.
Come nearer to me from thy car of light, on this green sward disdaining not our soil, for here are secret spaces made for thee, whose caves of emerald long to screen thy form. Wilt thou not make this mortal bliss thy spear? Descend, O happiness, with thy moon gold feet. Enrich earth's floors upon whose sleep we lie. O my bright beauty's Princess Savitri, by my delight and thy own joy compelled, enter my life, thy chamber and thy shrine. In the great quietness where spirits meet, led by my hushed desire into my woods, let the dim rustling arcs over thee lean, one with the breath of things eternal live. Thy heart beats near to mine, till there shall leap. Enchanted from the fragrance of the flowers, a moment which all murmurs shall recall, and every bird remember in its cry.
Thank you.
Allured to her lashes by his passionate words, her fathomless soul looked out at him from her eyes. Passing her lips in liquid sounds, it spoke. This word alone she uttered and said all. O Satyavan, I have heard thee, and I know that thou and only thou art he. Then down she came from her high carven car, descending with a soft and faltering haste, her many-hued raiment glistening in the light, hovered a moment over the wind-stirred grass, mixed with a glimmer of her body's ray, like lovely plumage of a settling bird. Her gleaming feet upon the green gold sward scattered a memory of wandering beams, and lightly pressed the unspoken desire of earth, cherished in her too brief passing by the soil.
Thank you.
Then flitting like pale brilliant moths, her hands took from the sylvan verge's sunlit arms a load of their jeweled faces, clustering swarms, companions of the springtime and the breeze. A candid garland set with simple forms, her rapid fingers taught a flower song, the stanzied movement of a marriage hymn. Profound in perfume and immersed in hue, they mixed their yearnings' colored signs and made the bloom of their purity a passion one. A sacrament of joy in treasuring palms she brought, flower symbol of her offered life. Then with raised hands that trembled a little now at the very closeness that her soul desired, the bond of sweetness, their bright union sign, she laid on the bosom coveted by her love.
Thank you.
As if inclined before some gracious God, who has out of his mist of greatness shone, to fill with beauty his adorers' hours, she bowed and touched his feet with worshipping hands. She made her life his world for him to tread, and made her body the room of his delight, her beating heart a remembrancer of bliss. He bent to her and took into his own their married yearning, joined like folded hopes, as if a whole rich world suddenly possessed, wedded to all he had been, became himself, an inexhaustible joy made his alone. He gathered all Savitri into his clasp. Around her his embrace became the sign of a locked closeness through slow, intimate years, a first sweet summary of delight to come, one brevity intense of all long life.
Thank you.
In a wide moment of two souls that meet, she felt her being flow into him as in waves a river pours into a mighty sea. As when a soul is merging into God, to live in him forever and know his joy, her consciousness grew aware of him alone, and all her separate self was lost in his. As a starry heaven encircles happy earth, to shut her into himself in a circle of bliss, and shut the world into himself and her. A boundless isolation made them one. He was aware of her enveloping him and let her penetrate his very soul, as is a world by the world's spirit filled, as the mortal wakes into eternity, as the finite opens to the infinite. Thus were they in each other lost awhile, then drawing back from their long ecstasy's trance, came into a new self and a new world.
Thank you.
Each now was a part of the other's unity. The world was but their twin self-finding scene, or their own wedded being's vaster frame. On the high glowing cupola of the day, fate tied a knot with morning's halo threads, while by the ministry of an auspicious hour, heart-bound before the sun, their marriage fire, the wedding of the eternal Lord and spouse took place again on earth in human forms. In a new act of the drama of the world, the united two began a greater age. In the silence and murmur of that emerald world, and the mutter of the priest wind's sacred verse, amid the choral whispering of the leaves, love's twain had joined together and grew one. The natural miracle was wrought once more. In the immutable ideal world, one human moment was eternal made.
Thank you.
Then down the narrow path where their lives had met, he led and showed to her her future world, love's refuge and corner of happy solitude. At the path's end, through a green cleft in the trees, She saw a clustering line of hermit roofs, and looked now first on her heart's future home, the thatch that covered the life of Satyavan. Adorned with creepers and red climbing flowers, it seemed a sylvan beauty in her dreams. Slumbering with brown body and tumbled hair in her chamber inviolate of emerald peace. Around it stretched the forest's anchorite mood, lost in the depths of its own solitude. Then, moved by the deep joy she could not speak, a little depth of it quivering in her words, her happy voice cried out to Satyavan, "My heart will stay here on this forest verge and close to this thatched roof while I am far. Now of more wandering it has no need."
Thank you.
But I must haste back to my father's house, which soon will lose one loved accustomed tread, and listen in vain for a once cherished voice. For soon I shall return, nor ever again one must sever its recovered bliss, or fate sunder our lives while life is ours. Once more she mounted on the carven car, and under the ardor of a fiery noon, less bright than the splendor of her thoughts and dreams, she sped, swift-reined, swift-hearted, but still saw in still lucidities of sight's inner world, through the cool scented woods' luxurious gloom, on shadowy paths between great rugged trunks, paced towards a tranquil clearing, Satyavan. A nave of trees enshrined the hermit thatched, the deep covered of her felicity, preferred to heaven her soul's temple and home. This now remained with her heart's constant scene.
Thank you. So now we'll go back to the beginning. And Suresh, you can begin again.
Satyavan and Savitri, out of the voiceless mystery of the past, in a present ignorant of forgotten bonds, the spirits met upon the roads of time, hid in the heart their secret conscious selves. At once, however, grew of each other warned by the first call of a delightful voice and a first vision of the destined face, as when being crease to being from its depths, behind the screen of the external sense, and strives to find the heart disclosing world, the passionate speech revolving the soul's need, but the mind's ignorance veils the inner sight. Only a little breaks through our earth-made bonds. So now they meet in that momentous hours. So utter the recognition in the deeps, the remembrance lost, the oneness felt and missed.
Thank you. We'll just pause there for a few minutes. We see in Satyavan and Savitri's meeting something Sri Aurobindo has been describing repeatedly in these cantos, that behind the outer appearances of things, there's this deeper reality, there are deeper truths which don't make their way completely to the surface, and our minds aren't able to perceive that. So here, Sri Aurobindo says that out of the voiceless mystery of the past. So it's out of this past which is unable, is not expressing itself fully in the present moment, in a present ignorant of forgotten bonds. These spirits met upon the roads of time. So they're not remembering their past, but it's there somehow. They have a sense of it, but can't really know what that is. Yet, in the heart, their secret conscious selves, something deep within them that is conscious, at once aware, grew, of each other warned, by the first call of a delightful voice and a first vision of the destined face. So something from deep within them, in their heart, warned them, kind of came out and touched them and indicated in some vague way that here was the destined face, and he recognizing the sound of her voice when she first saw him and called out. And then he gives us metaphor for this experience of knowing something deep within, but the mind not really understanding. As when a being cries to being from its depths, behind the screen of the external sense. When we want to express some deeper feeling of deep within, but we're unable to really give the words to that. Behind the screen of the external sense, and strives to find the heart disclosing word, the passionate speech revealing the soul's need. But the mind's ignorance veils the inner sight. Only a little breaks through our earth-made bounds. Only a little of what is deep within us is able to come forth and express itself truly. Like that, so now they met in that momentous hour. So utter, so complete the recognition in the deeps of their soul, of their heart, the remembrance lost, the oneness felt and missed. They feel it deep within, but they can't put a name on it, what exactly it is. The remembrance is lost. The oneness is felt and missed. So we continue.
Thus Satyavan spoke. Thus Satyavan spoke first to Savitri. O thou who comest to me out of time's silences, yet thy voice has wakened my heart to an unknown bliss. immortal or mortal only in thy frame. For more than earth speaks to me from my soul, and more than earth surrounds me in thy gaze. How art thou named among the sons of man? Whence hast thou dawned, filling my spirit's days? Brighter than summer, brighter than my flowers, into the lonely borders of my life. O sunlight molded like a golden maid. I know the mighty gods are friends of earth. Amid the pageantries of day and dusk, long have I travelled with my pilgrim soul, moved by the marvel of familiar things. Earth could not hide from me the powers she veils, even though moving mid an earthly scene and the common surfaces of terrestrial things, my vision saw unblinded by her forms. The Godhead looked at me from the familiar scenes.
Thank you. So Satyavan speaks first to Savitri, and he indicates that he senses something about her. Her voice has wakened his heart to an unknown bliss. She had first let out a kind of sound when she first saw him, and just from that, it awakened his heart. He felt this bliss deep within, and he had this sense that she is immortal, or only mortal in her physical body, but having an immortal spirit within. Or he says, "For more than earth speaks to me from thy soul, and more than earth surrounds me in thy gaze." He senses some divinity within her. And then he asks, "How art thou named among the sons of men? Whence hast thou dawned, filling my spirit's days?" He speaks in this very elevated tone. He's asking, from where have you come? But the way he expresses it in this lofty language, "Whence hast thou dawned, filling my spirit's days?" Satyavan mentions that here it's kind of revealed that Satyavan is a prince. He's not just a kind of a simple man in the hermitage, but he has this kind of elevated language. "Whence hast thou dawned, filling my spirit's days, brighter than summer, brighter than my flowers, into the lonely borders of my life. O sunlight, molded like a golden maid. Again, repeatedly, we see that Savitri is described in these terms of being golden, and of representing perhaps this supramental truth of which she is the representative here on earth. And sunlight also is a symbol of the divine being. So he often uses these terms to describe her. I know that mighty gods are friends of earth. So he's sensed the divinities within nature, amid the pageantries of day and dusk, the procession of the days, of the nights, of the mornings. Long have I traveled with my pilgrim soul, moved by the marvel of familiar things. Earth could not hide from me the powers she veils. He's always sensed the spirit behind the nature's forms. Even though moving mid an earthly scene and the common surfaces of terrestrial things, my vision saw unblinded by her forms. The Godhead looked at me from familiar scenes. It gives us, again, this sense of the divinity deep within, hiding behind the appearances of nature. Satyavan was awake to that within nature. He could sense these spirits, and he'll describe that more. So we continue.
I witnessed the virgin bridals of the dawn behind the glowing curtains of the sky, or vying in joy with the bright morning steps. I paced along the slumbrous coasts of noon, o'er the gold deserts of the sunlight crossed, traversing great wastes of splendor and of fire, or met the moon gliding amazed through heaven in the uncertain wetness of the night, or the stars march on their long sentinel routes, pointing their spears through the infinitudes. The day and dusk revealed to me hidden shapes. Figures have come to me from secret shores, and happy faces looked from ray and flame. I have heard strange voices cross the ether's waves. The centaur's wizard song hath thrilled my ear. I have glimpsed the apsaras bathing in the pools. I have seen the wood nymphs peering through the leaves. The winds have shown to me their trampling lords. I have beheld the princes of the sun burning in thousand-pillared homes of light.
Thank you. So here Satyavan describes some of that, of seeing these spirits behind nature, that he's witnessed the virgin bridals of the dawn behind the glowing curtains of the sky, behind the light of the morning sun rising. He senses the virgin brides, the spirits of the dawn behind the light, or vying in joy, competing in happiness with the bright morning steps, competing with this joy of the morning. I paced along the slumberous coasts of noon, or the gold desert of the sunlight crossed. So he's comparing the joy of the morning with that of the noon sun, traversing great wastes of splendor and of fire. And then he describes the nights, or met the moon gliding a maze through heaven in the uncertain wideness of the night, or the stars marched on their long sentinel routes. He senses the stars marching, watching over the earth, pointing their spears through the infinitudes. The day and dusk revealed to me hidden shapes. Again, he's sensing spirits behind the day and the evening dusk. Figures have come to me from secret shores, and happy faces looked from ray and flame. He's even seen images, faces peering at him through the flames of the fire at night, or from the rays of the sun. I have heard strange voices crossing the ether's waves. Also, he sometimes will sense voices. The centaur's wizard song has thrilled my ear. He's heard the songs of the centaurs, mythological beings from the spirit world. I have glimpsed the apsaras bathing in the pools. These are like heavenly nymphs. I have seen the wood nymphs peering through the leaves. The winds have shown to me their trampling lords. I have beheld the princes of the sun burning in 1,000-pillared homes of light. Again, the sun is representative of the divine being. The princes of the sun, perhaps the gods, just a lower than the divine being, perhaps like beings almost of the overmind plane, burning in 1,000-pillared homes of light. That 1,000-pillared homes of light is kind of suggestive of this overmind plane of being. We continue. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't look up too much about the mythology of that. If anybody can enlighten us, we could speak. Yeah. Body of a goat and a man's head? I think so, maybe.
But it seems I have heard for the first time. So, what is meant by the chanting of clouds, chanting Lord of the winds?
Yeah, I think just the wind spirits again, but the trampling hooves as if it's like these horses are racing by with the wind. Trampling lords. Yeah, it's the lords of the wind.